Today's video is going to be slightly different than usual. I'm going to be jumping into a few different topics early on for this easy difficulty Linux machine called Chemistry by my good friend FisMatHack. Now, I've gone asked a few times on how do I go about taking my notes, so I'm going to touch on that a little bit, as well as some new quality of life tools that I've been really enjoying by the team by Charm. Overall, I really enjoy this machine, which has two proof of concepts that are really great to dive into for the source code review and to really figure out how to do them manually, as well as a great example of not overlooking some of the easy things that are just, well, pretty easy to overlook. So if you're new here, I'm Chris Alupulu, or Neil Springs, a cyber enthusiast who loves CDF challenges, researching vulnerabilities, and just all things hacking. So without further ado, let's dive in. All right, let's go ahead and do the initial recon. So we're going to be using Nmap. We're going to use the P flag for all the 65,000 or so ports for the IP address that we got. And we're using a min rate of 10,000 because we're not worried about being detected or being noisy in this case. So I went through the 65,000 or so ports and it came back 2 ports that are available for us. 22 TCP for SSH, meaning that if we get credentials in the future, we could probably SSH into the machine. And the other is a 5000 TCP for UPnP. Now, if you don't know what UPnP is, or you want more information on it, typically from here is what we would do is we would use Nmap scripts to give us more information on that. So let's go ahead and do that. But I do want to showcase some tools that I've been messing around with from the team from Charm Bracelets that I have been really enjoying. So here we go. We're going to go through it really quickly just to kind of showcase what they have done. So here is the port. So we're targeting the 2 ports, so 22 5000 for the IP address, and we're using Nmap scripts, that's CV, and then we're also using the O capital N flag to save this scan into an Nmap file, and we're doing it at a T5 for the speed, just another way of doing it as a min rate of 10,000. They're not the same, but it's just another way of doing it faster. And then we're piping it into T for the dev TTY, and then from there we're piping it into mods. Mods is the tool from Charm that is an AI agent. So we're asking it to explain for pen testing in Markdown, and then finally passing it into or piping it into Glow, which is another Charm bracelet tool that they made that really just spices up the Markdown preview. So that is a very long command, but I'm going to show you what this all does. So we're going to go ahead and run this command, and let's take a look at exactly what it's doing. So it's going to initially do the first Nmap scan, and here is the output. And that's going to be saved in the file. And here we go. We got some more information out of that Nmap scan. So we can take a look at it. We could read it. We could see, okay, there's an HTTP server. There's an HTTP title, chemistry home, but it did get piped into mods and then finally into Glow. And now we have this nice little Markdown preview of the AI agent kind of explaining more in detail, and it saved the conversation that we can take a look at in the future. But here we go, penetration testing with Nmap. So it kind of gives us what Nmap is and a report of it, the details. And here we go, we can scroll down and take a look at the port 5000. That's the one thing that I was looking into. And here is the thing that I'm noticing, the title is Chemistry. So that is really cool. The server is a WorkZug, if I said that right, 3.0.3, Python 3.9.5. So really nice, really cool. And the reason why I like this so much is because maybe I wanted to simply hit my prefix for tmux, go into copy mode, and simply just copy this entire report so I don't have to write it, right? I can go from here, Nmap report, hit enter. And if I wanted to go into my NeoVim, where it essentially is my blog, where it's connected to my blog on GitHub, and let's say I wanted to paste this in, I can simply go ahead and paste that in. And there we go. The report is pasted in. I don't have to write it out. I don't have to do any of that shenanigans. Now, most people probably wouldn't be doing it through NeoVim and doing it this way. They'll probably just go ahead and have their Obsidian or Notion up and just jump back and forth and paste it in there. The only reason I'm doing it in NeoVim and with LazyGit is because I'm essentially just writing it up and then pretty much posting it on my website. So that's the only reason I go down that. So when I'm writing it, I don't want to write it twice. I don't want to write it in Notion or Obsidian and then start importing it into my website. I just simply write it for the website from the get-go. So that's essentially what I'm doing. All right. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and clear the screen and let's cat the Nmap scan because that was a lot of information we were provided. Let's take a look at it. So now we know that the site is on 5000 port because of the title and the server. And we do want to now assign the IP address to the name. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll go sudo nano etc host, put in our password. And then from here, we'll go back into there, boom, paste in the password, chemistry.htb, save it, and now we can actually go to the website. So let's go ahead and run Burp Suite. And from there, we'll go ahead and launch Firefox as well. Hit next, start, and just double check to see if my proxy is set up correctly. It looks like it is. So let's see, HTTP chemistry.htb. Now we do want to make sure that if we go to the normal website without any port on the end, it's typically the 80 port, we're going to get this error, right? So we got to remember that in our Nmap scan, the port was for 5000. So we need to put that port number on the URL so we can actually resolve the website correctly. And there we go. We got the website, Chemistry CIF Analyzer. Welcome to the Chemistry CIF Analyzer. This tool allows you to upload a CIF, a crystallographic information file, and analyze the structured data contained with it. Very cool. So I'm seeing there's only a login and register. So let's go ahead and try to register something maybe. And let's try registering an admin password and see what that does. Username already exists. That's really interesting. That's kind of the reason why I like fingerprinting an admin registry first, because I do want to see if there is already a username that exists under that. In this case, it does. And most of the time we wouldn't, you know, my past videos, we wouldn't get this, right? So that is interesting. If that's the case, then let's go ahead and go into the login. And let's try some SQL injection because there is an admin. And what we've done typically in the past is the admin with the OR 1 equals 1, limit to 1. And let's see if we can potentially get in this way. And in this case, we're getting invalid credentials. So it looks like we don't get any type of SQL injection that way. I'm curious. Let's try registering this user. Let's see what that does. And it looks like, okay, so it looks like it registered that. I'm not sure if that did anything in the back end, but it looked like it allowed that SQL injection. But I think naturally we probably would be able to just register the user normally. So I don't know. I don't know if I messed that up or not. But here we go. We got into the dashboard. Could have done it without the SQL. Could have done it normally. Whatever. We can take a look at in the machine if that actually passed it into a database or not. I'm assuming maybe there is a SQL database. So we'll take a look at it. All right. Please provide a valid CIF file. An example is available for us. Okay. And if I hover over the link, it is an actual link. So I'm going to go ahead and click it, and it looks like it downloads us an example.cif file. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. I'm going to go back into my terminal, and then from here, I'll cd into the hackthebox chemistry, and let's take a look at this example CIF file. So it is just a blank data example and some random data. I'm not really sure about the data, but it does say atom site, so that's something. What can we do? I guess, so from here, what I like doing is I'll just yank this and go into here and then do Python. And then I will just paste that data in there. And there we go. So we have the data, and I can go ahead and write. There we go. And now we can go ahead and quit out of that. And from here, since we have an example file, didn't really make much out of it. Let's go ahead and go into the browser and then start searching for any vulnerabilities. So CIF vulnerabilities, and let's take a look at what pops up. In this case, first thing that's popping up is the GitHub one. And the thing that I noticed is here, code execution. Whenever I see that, that usually jumps out to me. So let's take a look at it. It is from Materials Project. Not sure if this is correct version, but let's take a look. Here's the vulnerable code. All right. And this is what I want. The proof of concept. The vulnerability can be exploited as follow. Create a file, right? A .cif file, can be named whatever, with the following contents. And here are the contents. Then parse the CIF file with the following code. Here we go. Okay, very cool. So let's take a look and see exactly where is the payload in this file, or is the entire file a payload? All right. Get attribute classes. I'm seeing that. Build import load module. Okay, here we go. So it's doing a build import load module for the OS system, and it's doing a touch pwned. So it's creating a file called pwned. So I'm assuming instead of the touch pwned here, we're probably going to replace this with a reverse shell, probably something that reaches out to our netcat so we can get onto the server that way. So let's go ahead. So what I like doing from here is I'll probably do a flame shot, and I'll just take a picture and maybe do it like that, and simply throw that into my notes, either Obsidian, Notion, or NeoVim, whatever. All right, so let's go ahead and copy this file because we do need to change this entire thing. We'll go back into the example CIF file so we could reuse that. And here we're simply going to replace the proof of concept that we got from the website here that we copied, and we're going to replace this entire code with the proof of concept and start making some tweaks. So what I'm going to simply do here is delete that, paste in the code, and there we go. And now we can go to the section where we're actually doing the OS system. And here where it says touch pwned, we do want to replace this entire thing and put our reverse shell code here. So let's go ahead and start going to the website, and then we'll go to revshells.com. Beautiful website. And here we go. I have the rev shell generator. I have my IP address here at the top right with the port that I want to run netcat under. And here is the bin bash script that I kind of want to copy. I don't think we need any encoding. I'm just simply going to copy this, and let's go ahead. Let me take a look at it. Yeah, let's go ahead and paste that in here. But I do think we do need to maybe do another bin bash call here. So bin bash c, let's see if I did that right. And let's take a look. I'm seeing if I wrote this correctly. From here, we can go ahead and go ahead and wquit. And now let's go ahead and clear the screen here and do a netcat1234. And now go back to the website and go here and start uploading this. So I'm going to upload this example CIF file. And there we go. We got the upload. It was successful. And it looks like we can view it. So let's go ahead and click it. And I'm seeing it's stolen. So that is promising. Let's go back into our terminal. And there we go. We got access to the app on the chemistry. So that is very cool. From here, let's go ahead, open up a new window and then cd into the hackthebox chemistry, clear it, and then do a breakout because we do want to stabilize our shell. And here we go. I'm simply going to copy this. I'm just referencing a flat file that I have on my Linux, and I'll be pasting in this code here that I have. And I'm essentially using glow to make this look nice and pretty. But here we go. All right. So pasted that in, stabilize my shell. Now I can ls, I can control C, I can clear. Oh, I forgot the X term. So that's why it's important to go ahead and do that. Now I can clear and I have every functionality. All right. So now that we have that, we can start diving into this app. But I did want to mention, remember at the beginning of the video, we used the mods tool. So let's go ahead and play around with it and see if we can use it in another way. So I kind of wanted to test this out. Let's go ahead. And what did I do? I did the neovim that, right? Let's go ahead and see if this works. I'm going to pass in this and I'm going to ask it, what does this do? Right? And let's go ahead and see what mods comes up with. And here we go. So mods is telling us exactly what this CIF file is, where it points, but it's saying, okay, you can open the CIF file, so forth and so on, analysis, editing, all right, sharing, so forth and so on. Not really anything relevant, but the other thing we can do is we can simply just cat the internals of it and do it this way. And let's go ahead and see what a mods gives us back. In this case, it's pretty much just telling us, okay, here is the breakdown of what's happening, the data format, so forth and so on. The exploit is embedded in the space group transform field. It uses Python's introspection features and exploit payload to inject code execution into what would otherwise be a non-executable input data. The payload manipulates Python's class method resolution to execute a system command. And then 3, the reverse shell. So again, nice thing I like doing, going into the copy mode for tmux and start copying this entire thing. So I like this breakdown. Maybe I want to throw this breakdown into my notes. I can simply just copy it and throw it in my notes. So there we go. That is, again, from Charm using that. All right, let's continue on. So I'm going to clear the screen, delete that, and think we're done with this. I can leave that up, but I kind of want to start checking out what is the app.py. All right, let's go ahead and scroll up and take a look at this. So I'm kind of just looking for passwords or credentials or any kind of indication to give me what or where to focus on next. And not really seeing anything. Okay, here we go. I'm seeing here for the app, for the Flask, a secret key. So we have a secret key. I'm not sure how relevant that is, but I'm going to copy that. And then the other thing I'm noticing here is an SQL Alchemy database URI and SQLite database DB. So that is awesome. Let's go ahead and then if we know that, clear the screen and now start hunting for this database. So maybe we can cd, I'll start from the left going right, go into instance, and there we go. So we have the database. So let's go ahead and file it to see what it is exactly. And in this case, it's a SQLite 3 database. So I'm going to simply do SQLite 3 with the database name, and now we have access to it. So that is awesome. Let's take a look at the tables. And now we have two tables available for us, the structure and the user. So I'm going to select everything, doing the star for everything, to the users, from the users. Whoops. Oh, it's a little lag. Come on, server. From user, and there we go. So we have now some information. So I can simply copy this entire thing, and there we go. So the interesting part is there is an admin user. We did try to register it, right? So there is that hash that we can crack. I'm going to copy that as well, have that in my note clip, put that in my notes. But looking here at the very bottom, the testing, the one that I registered as, so the admin with the or 1 equals 1 that actually came through, that registered correctly. So that is funny. That is pretty cool. So, but we are getting a bunch of different users here. So that is awesome. Let's go ahead and start cracking all these hashes and start finding which one gives us a password. All right, so now working on Rosa. So I'm going to simply copy Rosa and go into the browser here and go the crackstation.net, the good old crackstation, put in Rosa's hash there, and then start doing this, not a robot verification, and let's crack it. And there we go. We got the unicorn password. So I'm going to simply copy that, have that in my notes as well. I can even, in fact, go ahead and take this picture and do it like that, or do it like that, so forth and so on. All right. Now that we have Rosa, let's go ahead and jump back into the terminal and let's see if we can access through SSH, because remember on our initial Nmap scan, it did show us that we had SSH. So I'm going to Rosa, SSH as Rosa, and then go here and paste her password. And there we go. We have access with a Rosa user. So that's awesome. From here, I typically like doing a sudo L just to see if I need to pivot again. It looks like, sorry, the user Rosa may not have sudo privileges. So that sucks. Let's go ahead and open up a new window and then do the breakout again. And let's see if we need to find, here we go. Here's the command that I was looking for. I'm looking for a list of other users, and this shows us the app, this shows us Rosa and root. So it looks like we're not pivoting into another user. We need to figure out how to escalate into root this way. So there is the user flag. I'm going to go ahead and I can cat that, throw that in, but we need to figure out now how to get into root. So from here, typically what I like doing is using linps. So I'll host linps from my attack machine and I'll download it, or even just transfer it over. Since we have SSH, we can go ahead and just transfer linps over and then run it. But it looks like I'm hearing something. Is that, what is that?
Hey, NeoSprings, any open ports available? And don't forget to check the header.
Any open ports available, and check the headers. Oh, that's okay. In that case, let's not do linps. Let's take his nice little tip and let's take a look at it. So I'm going to simply pxaux and let's take a look. And that's not it. Let's SSTLN. Uh-oh, the server's laggy. There we go. All right, let's clear the screen. Let's do that again. And what was he saying? Look for ports. Okay, so I'm noticing here. So there is the 5000 that's open for what we were looking at, the app.py. But here is something else, an 8080 that's run, and that was never picked up on an Nmap. So what was the other tip he mentioned? He mentioned check the headers. So let's go ahead and let's see if we can curl this 8080, and we can. So we are able to access this, and it looks like it is another website. But the other tip he mentioned was check the headers. So let's use the capital I for just the headers, and let's take a look at that and see if that provides us any information. In this case, we did get back a 200 OK, and I think the thing he's hinting at with his tip here is the server is a Python 3.9, and it is an Aeon HTTP 3.9.1. So that is really interesting. I'm going to go ahead and copy that, throw that into my notes so I have that. But now we kind of have something that we could take a look at. So from here, let's go ahead, open up a new window, and let's take a look at what exactly is run on this port. And now we can do an SSH without flag, and we're simply going to port forward what is run on Rosa on 8080 to our port 8081. So we're going to simply paste that in, paste in her password, and there we go. We now are port forwarding whatever information that 8080 is on Rosa to our attack machine or Kali Linux machine. Now I could have simply done that through Rosa's initial SSH, but I'm just showing you how to do it from a new SSH. So now we can go to the browser here, and we can throw in the local for 8080, not 8080, but 8081, because it's run on 8080 on Rosa, but we're forwarding it to 8081. So it doesn't conflict with Burp Suite or any of the proxy that we have right now, because we have Foxy proxy forwarding to Burp Suite on 8080. So I didn't want to conflict it with any of those. So now we have the website. Let's take a look at it. And it looks like it's just a simple site monitoring website. So that is cool. Let's see if it's built out. It doesn't look like it's built out at all. Some nice little graphs, nothing really there. And then what I like doing is taking a look at the page source. So let's look through here, getting a bunch of style sheets, make the site look pretty. I'm looking for links. I'm looking for assets. Here's a script.js that's promising. Here is some code here. Not really seeing anything, but let's take a look at the assets.js script.js file. So we're seeing, all right, let's take a look. Nothing really promising here either. I'm not really seeing anything relevant. Let's continue down, and I'm not really seeing anything here either. So really nothing in the page source, and I'm not seeing anything on the website, but I'm thinking back on the creator's tip, right? He mentioned check the headers, and that was an important thing. So let's go back into the terminal and go back into that header, and we're looking here. Thing that I'm noticing that's different than anything else is, yes, sure, it's on Python, but what exactly is this? So I'm going to copy this, and maybe there is some type of vulnerability to this. So from here, we can go ahead and start searching that, right? Vulnerability, if I can spell. Good thing for Google. There we go. Vulnerability for the HTTP 3.9. And we're getting a bunch of different things. Here is a proof of concept. That's kind of something that jumped out at me. Let's go ahead and open these up so we can go through them. And let's take a look at what exactly this is. So this is a CVE from 2024. It's pretty recent. And the proof of concept here is an LFI patch reversal vulnerability in this version. So that's pretty promising because we know it is this version. So let's take a look and let's figure this out. So why does it work? Vulnerability itself lies in the way of how AO HTTP handles requests for static resources. If we write code like this, very interesting. Okay. So I'm not really seeing a proof of concept here. There is an exploit script. Let's take a look at the exploit script. See what it does. Exploit, password static. All right. Okay. URL. Default static. Okay. Let's take a look at the other one. Maybe I just couldn't understand that one. Is this another proof of concept? Let's take a look at the exploit. So this one, okay, it's setting some parameters. It's curling. This one is curling it as an HTTP code. Interesting. All right, curl path as is SO to dev. Okay. So let's go ahead and try that. Let's see if we can curl it, and let's see if we can access like the etsy password or something like that. So let's jump back into the terminal because I think what's working is the curling with the S flag with this path as is flag. So let's try curling it and seeing it if we can access the Etsy password file without actually running this exploit. We're just going to do it manually. So from here, we'll simply just paste in that curl flag. Yes, yes. And then we will do the let's see, on 8080, right? I think we might need to do HTTP here. And let's do, I don't know, 4 or 5. Uh-oh, server. Etsy password. And let's take a look. Okay, not found. Maybe we need to climb up the tree some more. All right, so that's not found either. Let's go back into the browser. Let's go here. What was the page source? It was assets, right? So there was a bunch of assets. JS. Let's try appending assets on it. And there we go. So that looks like that worked out for us. So we were able to get LFI that way, but how does that help us on gaining root access? I'm not sure, but I do know how we can get the root flag, right? If the root flag, there it is, the root flag. Awesome. So let's clear the screen, do that again. And I kind of want to see if root does have an SSH key, right? SSH ID RISA, and there we go. So that's awesome. And that's it for this box. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the comments. For the algo, smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.